There was a time when high heels were not a symbol of elegance, but of power, of war, and control. Imagine the sound. It is not the echo of a runway. It is the gallop of a horse, cutting through desert dust. In the 10th century, during the rise of Persian dynasties, cavalry soldiers designed a heel, not as decoration, but as a tool, a small support, that allowed them to lock into the stirrup and stand steady while shooting arrows in motion. It was precision. It was balance. It was survival. This is where the heel was born, in the heart of war. In 1599, Shah Abbas of Persia sent a diplomatic and military mission to Europe. He was seeking alliances against the Ottoman Empire, but unknowingly, he also exported an aesthetic. European nobles saw those shoes and understood something powerful. Power could be worn, and that symbol began to transform. In ancient Greece, centuries earlier, actors wore elevated platform shoes called kothurni. They raised themselves on stage to appear taller, greater, almost divine. This was not fashion. It was representation. And now Europe, the 17th and 18th centuries, courts filled with heels, but not on women, on men. No aristocrat went without them. The higher the heel, the greater the status. Louis XIV of France, the Sun King, turned heels into a symbol of absolute power. He raised them to nearly 14 centimeters. He decorated them with battle scenes and rich colors, and he declared something remarkable. Only those favored by him could wear red heels. The heel was no longer an object. It was hierarchy, privilege, identity. But outside the palaces, reality looked very different across Europe, especially in the 15th and 16th centuries. The streets were mud, water, waste, dirt, and so came the chopines. Exaggerated platforms made of wood or cork, lifting the body above the ground. They were not elegant, they were necessary. But over time, they too became a symbol, because the higher they were, the clearer it became. Those who wore them did not need to walk. Many noble women were supported by servants as they moved, because those shoes were not made for walking, but for showing status. Luxury was not touching the ground. Then history shifted. In 1789, the French Revolution erupted, and with it, the symbols of aristocracy fell. Men abandoned heels because they no longer meant power, but inequality. And then, almost silently, women adopted them. During the 19th and 20th centuries, heels evolved. They became slimmer, more refined. They turned into a symbol of femininity, but also transformation and identity. And then, an unexpected moment. In 1992, Christian Louboutin painted the sole of a shoe red, a simple gesture that changed luxury forever. The red sole became an icon, a desire, a signature. But symbols create conflict. In 2011, a legal battle began against Yves Saint Laurent. The question was simple and profound. Can a color be owned? Years later, in 2018, European courts ruled, yes, the red sole can be protected, but only when it contrasts with the rest of the shoe. It is not just the color, it is the idea, the identity, the mark. And so, from the 10th century to the present day, the heel has traveled an unexpected path. From war to theater, to mud, to palaces, to courtrooms, from necessity to symbol. But one thing has never changed. Every heel tells a story. It is not just an object. It is a statement, a way to rise above the ground. The next time you hear that sound, that click, click, remember, you are not hearing fashion. You are hearing centuries of history, power, transformation, identity. Because some objects are not created. They evolve. And the high heel never stopped being a way to rise and leave behind an unforgettable mark.